I'm joined by Steve Tcherchian. He is the Chief Cybersecurity Officer for XYPRO. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, you know, here at home, social distancing. So tell us, while we're here in our homes doing the work that we do, how do we make sure that we are keeping ourselves cyber safe?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a lot of people don't consider the obvious. It's very easy to overlook the obvious. So now that we're removed from our day-to-day element and the cover that our IT teams in the office provides, you've got to bring some other things into consideration. Things like your Wi-Fi at home, your smart devices at home, the kids using the computers at home, those types of things all come into play. So you don't want the challenges of that aspect of it to compromise your work network or your work environment. So being able to factor those in and securing those properly are very, very important.
So tell us about Zoom. You know, one of the things we're doing this interview on Zoom, we send out these links and we're not really being careful who we're sending them to and potentially creating risks for ourselves, aren't we?
Absolutely. So Zoom bombing is becoming a very, very critical aspect from working from home. Zoom is very convenient to use. Their user interface is great. They've got some great features. They're very, very easy to use. So anybody can pick it off the shelf and start using it and having a video conference like we're having right now. But hackers and just people trying to take advantage of the situation are exploiting the lack of security that all those conveniences provide. And that's usually the case. Is security often suffers when you introduce conveniences and when you introduce ease of use. And Zoom seems to be getting bitten by that.
Yeah, and one of those things is we're using, a lot of us, our home computers, and we're logged on to all of our bank accounts, our credit cards, our social media, everything is on there. It's the keys to the kingdom. And then we're additionally putting Zoom on it, and then we're not being careful with who we invite to Zoom, like, hey, let's bring everyone to the party. How is that a problem?
Well, again, it goes back to the conveniences of Zoom. For example, you can share files in Zoom, and allowing somebody to do that, plus allowing people to come into your meetings just by using your link, you don't know who's joining your meeting if you're not securing that meeting properly. And then imagine if they start sharing files and if they start sharing viruses and start sharing other types of things that you download to your computer. And now without knowing that what you're downloading or what's being shared to you, now your entire computer is infected, but not just infected, but taken over.
Yeah, and how do we practice good cyber hygiene? Give us some tips. You know, we should be doing this all the time, but this is even more important right now.
The best thing I would recommend is if you're using your personal computer for work, get a new computer. Because think about it, the kids are home, everybody's home. They're probably, in most cases, we don't have the luxury of having multiple computers. So the kids are using your computer you're using for work, for homework, for example, or for playing games. I mean, I hear all day long, Dad, I'm bored, Dad, I'm bored, Dad, I'm bored. So here's a computer, here's an iPad, start downloading games. You don't want a game or an app or something that your kids are downloading, for example, to compromise what you're doing on your work computer, and then potentially compromising your work network or compromising your bank accounts, like you're mentioning.
So one of the big things we've seen is that since the virus started, we've seen a couple, big cyber incidents, like the one at Marriott. I got an email about the other day. Do you think we're going to have more of those? Because everything is so decentralized and it's so hard to keep buttoned up during these times.
Absolutely, and they're going to be preying on panic and chaos. Is hackers and thieves love panic and chaos, and we're all struggling to there's multiple spouses at home, there's kids at home. We're trying to effectively work from home and be productive from home. So security is often the last thing on our mind. And what better way for somebody to take advantage of that than kick a man when he's down, right? You're seeing a lot more phishing attempts, a lot more well-crafted phishing attempts that are targeting the stimulus checks. You're getting emails that seem legitimate from Zoom or from work or from your CEO or your CFO. So it's very, very easy to, in the chaos of everything, to accidentally click one of those links and potentially either ransomware your computer or infect your computer or some other malicious activity happening on your computer.
So be real careful, folks. We heard it from the expert. Where do we find out more about you?
If you go to our website, XYPRO.com, I posted a ton of articles there on what to do. There's one I recently put out about the 7 tips from working securely from home. I do a lot of that. There's a lot of activity on LinkedIn, on my Twitter, and follow our XYPRO pages.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. All the best to all of you out in Southern California.
My pleasure. Thank you, David.